Hello, we are meeting Nyle DiMarco tonight from America's Next Top Model and Dancing with the Stars. So we're practicing our sign language.
You are amazing.
You are beautiful.
Oh, you sign fast.
No, fast as you pull it back.
Oh, fast.
Selfie.
Oh yeah, selfie.
Something. Hello, we are at the Bronx campus.
Yes.
With my BFF Julia.
Hi guys.
Crazy. I loved it, but every time the cameras are up, it's very normal for people. When they put the cameras up, then problems happen. Problems always happen. They put the cameras up every time there's drama. Okay, so the competition show, and they get the drama in there. So that experience was really that I was not a model at that time. I had no experience in model, so I arrived there not knowing anything. But many of the other contestants were vets. They had been models for years, and I had no idea what to do. It was hard, and there was a lot of time I was learning a lot. And Tyra Banks was my advisor there, and she's awesome. Really respect her. But the negative part about that show was the phone was taken away, and I had no communication. So I'm trying to teach those models sign language and trying to teach them, but they didn't want to learn. They didn't care. They weren't interested in that. It wasn't. They were in it for themselves. So just to get the competition. So communication was hard. I guess about the first month it was hard. Imagine if you couldn't speak at all to anybody for a month, and for 1 month and a half, could you do that? With no language, it was really hard. And so I felt like it was going so fast. And really, we're meant as humans to communicate. So communication makes us who we are. That's what makes us human, so we can communicate with each other. Okay, that's what makes me. Let's take a picture.
I put in a few clips of Nyle speaking, but I just wanted to kind of go over what he talked about. Okay, so he came to Fordham, so I had to go to the other campus. This is his first presentation at a university. So he kind of talked about his family, what it was like growing up, because, what surprised me was that obviously he went to an all-deaf school, and he's traveled around to different schools, and then there was one point in his life when he really wanted to go to just a normal hearing high school, and then 2 weeks later decided that he couldn't do it because all he did all day was just sit in front of the translator, and so he didn't like that, so he had to wait until the semester's over because his mom made a promise with him that he could go for half the day, but then he changed his mind, so he had to wait. He then started getting very well known. America's Next Top Model and Switch at Birth contacted him right at the same time, so he just couldn't decide what he wanted to do. So he told us a little story and showed us a video about his dog Foxy, and so he set up 2 tennis balls, and one had Switch at Birth written on it, one had America's Next Top Model written on it. So we put them down, and the dog ran and chose, so he was like, whatever Foxy chooses is what I'm gonna do. So Foxy chose America's Next Top Model. So he went on that show, and he really shared what it was like to be on the show as the only deaf person with no communication, because he doesn't read lips. So for 2 months, he couldn't communicate with anyone because they took away his phone. On the show, you would never be able to tell that he felt that way. So he wanted to leave. He was like, I'm done, I'm leaving. And so then the producers, or Tyra, that was his mentor, was like, okay, we'll give you a phone, you can communicate through that. So, he won that show, and then Switch at Birth was kind of like, oh, well, now he's too big for us to be on the show, whatever, but no, they wanted him, so he went on that show afterwards. Then he went on Dancing with the Stars, and he was, people were asking what it was like, with Pete or whatever, and he was saying how he felt so uncomfortable dancing with her because he was like, she's in a relationship, I didn't want to touch her, and because he was like, I don't know, I think I have a crush on her, And so, I don't know, that was so funny. And then they were taking questions at the end, so people were standing up and like just speaking, and so like the translator would, you know, like sign to him. But I mean, if you were gonna ask a question, I feel like you should have like learned a little bit of like ASL to say to him, because I mean, if you're like a fan of him, I think that would have just been so much cooler. So I stood up there in the back. I was like, "Hello, my name is Vienna. You are beautiful. Can we take a selfie?" And I did it like all inside, and so like no one really knew like what was happening because, you know, whatever. But yeah, thanks to Julia, my best friend, who taught me all my sign, well, all that I know. And yeah, I put the clip in. That was my roommate's Snap story. And so anyways, he was leaving because, well, he was like, "Okay, fine, like we could take a photo," like that's what he signed to me back. And then so we were leaving, and no one else got a photo with him except me. So I was very excited. I guess everybody was a little upset they didn't get a photo, but whatever. It was a great experience.